Hello to you quiet, peaceful soul, you gentle soul. Hello to those of you who remain calm, cool, and collected, especially under pressure. Hello to all of God's people who have learned to smile through the pain. Those of you who have learned to turn your rain into sunshine. Hello to all of you who are holy, meek, and mild. Lots of you have been through so many things that are unspeakable, so many things that others wouldn't believe, so many things that other people don't know about because you've kept it all inside. You're holding all of that in, but please don't pop. After all, there's only so much that we can take before we break. There's only so much heaviness that we can bear. There's only so many burdens that we can carry before we take a stumble. You're holding on and hanging on, holding in secrets, hurt, betrayals, pains, heartbreak, offenses, disrespect, mistreatment, ill treatment, and abuse. If you are an empathic soul, you naturally go within when it comes to dealing with your emotions, when it comes to dealing with any problems or issues. You have learned to go within. You've learned to go within because there's been so few instances where you could depend on others outside of yourself. There hasn't been a lot of people that would listen to you openly, objectively. There have not been a lot of safe places where you felt like you could vent and let out your emotions. A lot of times you feel very, very misunderstood. Sometimes you even feel invisible. You have a tendency to take on a lot of things. Hold them internally. Hold them in your thoughts. Hold them even in your body. If you're an empathic soul, you may have lots of trauma that's still trapped in certain parts of your body. You may find tenderness and soreness in different parts of your body, such as your shoulders, the back of your head, the back of your neck, your arms, your hands, your lower back. These are all places in our body where hurt and pain can be trapped. And it's up to us to get them released. If you don't have an outlet for your emotions or your pain, it will remain trapped in your body and worsen over the years. You've been hurt so many times over and over again that you've developed this tendency to shrug things off, to brush them off. You dust yourself off. You wash yourself off and you keep going. But the thing is, that's only surface level. You may brush somebody's mistreatment off of the surface, but it still remains trapped underneath until you actually deal with it. To make sure that you don't hold all of these negative emotions in, negative things that people have done to you, to make sure that they don't remain on the inside of you, you have to do 3 things. You have to learn to communicate to get these things out of you. You have to talk with yourself. You have to have some self-dialogue. You have to talk to God. And it's also advisable you talk to a therapist, a close friend, or a close family member that you can trust. As an empathic soul, you have a tendency to push down your emotions, to repress them and suppress them. And this only leads to depression. Eventually, these feelings and emotions are going to come to the surface. Eventually, your trauma will try to work itself out of your body, whether this is through anxiety attacks, panic attacks, PTSD, nightmares, tremors, etc. When someone says something harsh to you, when someone says something mean to you, something detrimental, something painful, it's not just words. These words can penetrate to your heart and to your soul. The power of life and death is in the tongue. Therefore, you have to begin to speak to yourself. You have to begin to minister to yourself. Speak the things that are not as though they were. You have to rebuke certain words that have been spoken over you. You have to go in and do surgery. You have to remove the poison that's been spoken over you, the poison that has entered into your ear gates. You have to go in and say what thus saith the Lord. You have to do positive self-talk. If you didn't get the parenting that you should have gotten as a child, it's now your opportunity to go and do some parenting of yourself. Parent the inner child. Speak life into the inner child. The next thing that you want to do is definitely talk to God. You want to meditate on His word day and night. Concentrate on what the word of God says about you. You are above only and not beneath. You are the head and not the tail. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. You have to ask God to create in you a clean heart and renew in you a right spirit. Ask God to renew your mind. Ask God to heal your heart. Ask God to wipe your tears. Lay your cares at the feet of Jesus. Cast your cares upon Him, for He cares for you. Ask Jesus to be a fence around you every single day. Ask Him to guide your steps and direct your paths. The third thing to consider to help you so that you're not holding things in until you pop is to speak with a therapist. When it comes to abuse especially, you can tend to hold these things in because you don't want to tell anybody because you're embarrassed as far as what happened to you. This could be childhood abuse. This can be physical abuse that you've gone through in your marriage. For me, it was very difficult to talk to people about it in both instances. I've gone through childhood abuse. And sometimes the very people that you think would be there to protect you, would be there to help you, comfort you, they will not hear you. They don't want to hear what you have to say. They don't support you. They don't believe you. They won't protect you. And you can internalize these things and carry them with you throughout your entire adulthood. And sometimes it won't be until you go see a therapist that you finally have a safe space to let out all of the things that happened to you, to tell your story, to process it, to try to figure out what you need to do to heal going forward, to analyze all of your emotions. When you see a therapist, you can start to unlock a lot of the solutions for things in your life. Things that you don't realize are related, you will start to make connections. For instance, when you feel like you don't matter, you're not valuable, you don't mean very much to people because of that childhood abuse, you start recognizing your patterns of behavior in other areas of your life, such as being an overachiever on your job. You're constantly trying to move on up the ranks because of this childhood wound. You are constantly going over and above and beyond at work because you feel like you're not enough, and you're constantly trying to prove to everyone around you, including yourself, that you are. When it comes to going through something like physical abuse in your marriage, when you go to therapy and you talk it out with people, you can start to understand why you believe you deserve that kind of treatment in the first place. Why did you stay so long? Why did you put up with it? You can start to figure some things out before you pop, before you just implode, before the mental starts to take a toll on your physical. Before you have any type of breakdown, before you have any type of long-term depressive episodes, before you pop and explode in anger, you can reach a resolution and a solution without holding things in. In fact, you won't get to the root of your issue until you learn to let go and not hold it in any longer. Until you learn to release and let it out. If you don't want to do a therapist, such as a mental health therapist, then you could do something like pastoral counseling. You can speak to a trusted family member, an elder family member. You could speak to a trusted friend, one who's going to listen to you without interrupting you, one who's going to help you sort through and process your emotions without judging you, someone who's going to fully hear you out without trying to sway you this way or that way, without trying to interject their opinions onto you. When you stop holding things in, you will start to understand that the abuse was never your fault. The abuse was never something that you deserved. The abuse was never something that you had to accept or tolerate. When you can stop holding things in, you actually start to think about them. You actually give yourself permission to feel, to think, and to work through those things. You have to think of the hurt, the pain, the betrayals, the abuse, etc. as poison that you cannot continue to hold in your system if you want to be healthy. You have to learn to work through your pain, work through your trauma, work through your emotions. You can't just have them held in and sitting there forever. They need to be processed and they need to be moved through so that you can move along with your life. There are certain things that you've been through that will always hurt you when you think about them. It's very hard for me to sit and do some of these videos where I talk about going through physical abuse with my ex-husband. When I talk about them, when I bring them up again, it's just like I'm going through that situation all over again because all the emotions come flooding back to me. It's not about getting to a point to where I no longer cry about it. It's about getting to the point to where I actually can talk about it and I can actually work through those emotions and I can actually come out on the other side as healed. I can come out on the other side having learned from the experience. I can come out on the other side knowing how to help others cross over from a position of pain to a position of power. From being a victim to being victorious. Being strong is not about holding in things until you pop. You can learn to let them go and let them drop. You are not the things that you've gone through. You are not even a summation of the things that you've been through. You are who God says you are. The things that happen to you are just that, things that happen to you. You can get through them and you can overcome them. The painful things of your past were darkness, but you have always been the light. You've always been the light that came out of darkness. And all you have to do is continue to shine your light through the darkness. There is no pain that Jesus can't feel. And there is no burden that he can't bear. There's no need for you to hold things in. Take it all to Jesus in prayer. Take it to the Lord above. Who cares? We have to learn to let things go so that we can let the love of Jesus Christ flow. So that we can let our marvelous light show.